the Saturday morning live stream. How to every single time I have to adjust everything because I'm running around grabbing stuff I want to show you guys, and especially the table's kind of full this week because I went to the P.O. box and got all the stuff you guys have been sending me, which has been awesome, man. So thank you very, very much to everyone who has taken the time out of their day. And look, handwritten letters and stuff. And some people are sending letters with a little bit of cash taped to it, stuff like that. Link, man, awesome. You got to show me, you got to tell me about this thing. I know that this is one, because we had that consultation. Oh man, look how cool that is. No doubt, this is one you found on the property, right? So yeah, tell me a little more about this, please. Where'd you find it? How did it come into your life? So yeah, thank you guys very much for sending this stuff to the P.O. box. Very thoughtful of you. And I'm not sure if I should, open it because some people just want to remain anonymous. You know what I mean? So they don't want to be have their name said or anything like that. And so I want to respect all of that. So I don't know, if you send something to the P.O. box, let me know. Right on the outside, say open during live, and I'll open it right now during the lives. How about that? But if you don't say that, then I'll just take it as a sort of silent thing, because not everybody wants to be talked about online. So, okay, let's see who's here. All right, guys. Sharon, hello. Printer Bear, Big Will Dog, Busy Girl, Eric Kemper, Rainy in South Carolina. Good to see you all here today. Yes, my friend, likewise. Patricia Fiala, good morning from Vancouver, Canada. Moondust says, good morning, afternoon from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Nice, my brother is right there right now doing a little hiking. He used to live in Grand Rapids for some time. He's an air traffic controller. Val, good morning, says, hi all, happy Saturday from northern Arizona. I got a good downpour yesterday. Plants are happy. Yes, so did we. It went from being a really terrible year for growing, meaning it was blazing hot and bone dry for the first 4 weeks of the summer. But then now it's been a pretty awesome growing season. Besides the past 4 days have been blazing hot, 95 degrees and very humid. So that's been a little bit hard for the plants, but it's going to go back down, and we've been right about at the 80-degree Fahrenheit with rain every couple days. I mean, it's just been good. So that is part of what helps us to produce these colossal mammoths, like this one, the yellow of Parma, the Weathersfield red. See, they're kind of a flatter onion, and I'll talk more about these a little bit later when some more people show up, because I released a short, on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube that about this, and everyone's like, well, why didn't you wait till the next bent over to harvest? And this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And guys, I will explain. Okay, not right this second though, because I want to see who else is here. Look to Nature Homestead says, greetings from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. So humid. How did the Vietnamese cilantro and ginger mint fare in that box? Okay, good. I was trying to wonder, I couldn't, there's so much going on, so many correspondence with people. I wasn't sure who sent me that. So thank you very much. It was Look to Nature Homestead. Okay, I haven't checked out your channel, but I'm sure you got a channel, right? With that kind of name, it sounds like you do. So thank you very much for the cilantro and the, what was it again? The ginger mint. Let us see here. Yes, ginger mint. It fared awesome. Man, this guy sent me a box with 2 live plants in it. I mean, more. It was 2 bunches of live plants. I was going to bring it over here, but it's sitting over there in the window right now because I wanted to put it into water and get it back into the sun, and or the indirect sun. They were rooted really well, and it was taped down. I mean, it was really secure in the box. It totally, I got it. I mean, when I opened it up, it was all, I'm sure, exactly how you left it. So really good job on that. And they were still alive and thriving. I got them in water now, and I will be planting them out. So Vietnamese cilantro and ginger mint. Ginger mint, to me, sounds like one of the greatest things there could be. So we will see. I'm going to plant it out, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you. And let's see here. Taylor says, Good morning from northern Colorado. Dono Themano says, I started using my purple sweet potatoes as a cover crop. LOL. Yeah, they grow pretty crazy, especially if it's hot and humid. Let's see here, man. See, this thing wants to be on the camera, so it keeps hitting me in the back of the head. Now is the time, guys. Now is the time when houseplants are going to really like to be outside. They're going to like to be outside where it's hot and humid, especially things like the pothos and the philodendrons. See, their native habitat is the jungle, so they love it. They hit a growth spurt when it can rise to about 80 degrees, 86 degrees, because that's like more like in real tropical areas, that's about what it is all the time. It's like 80s, in the low 80s all the time, and humid. So they really like that, and they'll grow a lot at these times of year. Let's see here. Short, fun, informative quiz says, how do you prepare soil for potted plants? Can you please make a video on that? Yes, I'm sure I could do that, definitely. The way that you want to do it for potted plants is, see, everybody wants to try and treat the potted plant as if it's just a small raised bed, but it's not. So you want to, they'll add amendments or they'll think that they're adding stuff into the pot. But what you want to do is cultivate and cook and create the soil mixture in a separate spot all together, and then once it's like completed or mostly complete, then you will put it into the pots. Once you add the amendments and once you add the if you're adding earthworms and stuff like that, whatever it is, you want to do all that while it's in a big pile in contact with the ground, and then to put into the pots like that. So Joe Peduzzi says, hello from hot, humid Long Island, New York. Yes, we're the ones that, yes, we were talking on Instagram, right? Man, you've got a really strong accent to me. Very cool. So, yes, you're the one growing all those different kinds of berries, right? I'm still thinking about how we could get some cuttings, because now obviously we see you can mail it to me. So I'm going to put a brain cell on it, but maybe you can just take some of the growth tip cuttings, even though it's not spring, it's not the ideal time, but it will still work, and package them up. That would be super cool. Let's see here. Dono the Mono says, I like to Hugo culture and deep mulch with straw and chop and drop. I'm about done with containers. Yeah. I really only recommend containers if you have to, you know. I mean, they work good, but you have to water a lot more, and there's more upkeep on it. And the plants just love the ground, okay? Let's see here. Big Will Dog says, Garden Like a Viking. Question, I have white paint splatter like discolor. Okay, wait. I have white paint splatter like discolor on all plants in one south-facing bed, but it's for sure not mildew. Okay, white paint like splatter. What plants are they? Because that sounds like it could be sunburn. Did you just plant them out? Did you just harvest something that then exposed the plants to underneath? A lot of times if you're growing like basil underneath your tomatoes or something, and the tomatoes are shading out for the most part, but then like a branch breaks or you prune off a big thing of the tomatoes, and the basil is freshly exposed to direct sunlight, it will burn. And sunburn on plants looks just kind of like white blotches, you know, but real soft edges. They're not like hard to find edges. So you can send me a picture on Instagram if you like, and I could tell for sure. I could identify it for sure. Let's see here. Hello, Pam, my friend, says, hello, everybody. Sorry late. Our daughter and grandson arrived with a lovely surprise for me. Some clumping bamboo plant roots and some to use as trellis. Nice. Yes, I love bamboo. Around here, it's not invasive. So before all you guys start saying, don't plant bamboo because it's so invasive. Yeah, I know. Not around here, it's not. Maybe in South Africa, it might be. But here, you got to like nurse it along and stuff. You got to really want the cold, hardy bamboo. Props to Jerry, by the way. Look, guys, got the cup back. So thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Now, I just have to get used to it again, that it keeps liquids scalding hot for several hours. So that is, you got to be mindful of that, okay? let's see here. Graham says, "Hi Nate, I started a new container of JLF with nettles, thistles, grass, etc. There were seeds on some of them. Is it okay to use, as I learned a big mistake a few years ago with nettle fertilizer, not JLF?" Okay, so if you, yes, the nettle seeds can survive the process, but if you strain out the JLF, then you will not have an issue with that. So you want to strain it through a paint strainer. If you watch that chicken manure tea video that I made, I showed you how I take a 5-gallon bucket, drill a bunch of holes in the bucket, and then put a paint strainer over it, or some kind of cloth, mesh. And then I press the whole thing down into the liquid fertilizer, and then that creates like a well. And then you can just scoop out the clean fertilizer from the inside. So, so long as some of the actual seeds don't get in there, it won't be a problem. But if you're just gonna take it by the cup and dump it on the ground, you will spread those weeds. You will, I know. They're a nightmare. Let's see here. What are you guys, how is the season going for everyone? Let's see, Moondust says, "How do you keep moles out of your garden? My parents has moles tunneling underneath the garden." Yeah, that's a tough one, guys. The gum thing is not really working. Or, I mean, it's not, the answer from everyone has been put juicy fruit in the holes, but I haven't really seen that work all that well. So we'll see. We'll see. We're also experimenting away at my parents' house with, they heard from an old guy, an old farmer, that sprinkling diatomaceous earth on the ground where all of the problem is, and then letting it get watered in there is a cure for the ground voles and moles. And I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I think it irritates them in some way. But we are doing a season-long experiment at that property, and I think so far it has really been effective. More effective than anything else. So we will have to see. I can't say for sure yet, but so far I believe that it is, I believe it's working. Because it was, you know, the moles there, the voles actually, are so bad that you walk and just every step feels like you're on a sponge cake. Just poof, poof, poof. You know, so it's, that's not conducive to healthy roots in the garden, you know, because they will eat that stuff. And Spencer says, "Rodents can easily be killed with a 50% baking soda and 50% cornbread mix, or anything they like." Okay, you mean, how do you get it into the holes? How do you get the voles or moles to eat it? Or are you talking about rodents like rats and mice? Oh yeah, guys, this is the Greek mountain tea, also known in the English language as ironwort tea. Very delicious with lavender petals. Super good, and some local raw honey, of course, so very good. And let's see here. Cookie Monkey says, "Yes, hit that thumbs up." Thank you, my friends. Yes, thank you for reminding everyone. Rune Master says, "Garden doing good this year in New Hampshire. Lots of rain and overcast. Winner thus far are my Kalima beans from Baker Creek and Boro beets from Johnny's." Nice. Yes, the Kalimas are so delicious, aren't they? So nice and small and thin and delicious. Grand Rapids, Michigan, says Nicole. "Hello, my friend." And let us shut our phone off here. Oh, email from LegalZoom. Yeah, I filed all the paperwork, so that's exciting. And let's see. D. Wright says, "My Jadam sulfur started to heat up, but stopped before it boiled, so the sulfur didn't fully melt. I used your recommended products and followed the steps. Is it usable, and what might I have done wrong?" You know, I am not entirely positive. If you used exactly the ingredients that I put in the links to the exact proportions that I mean, to the gram that I used in the video, then it's chemistry. You should get the same results. So something, you didn't do something exactly. You might have thought that you did, but it should have replicated exactly. But that's okay though. That happens to me sometimes if you don't get the purest of the pure stuff. If your ingredients aren't as pure as absolutely possible, then it doesn't produce exactly. Or the order in which you add the ingredients is of utmost importance for the Jadam sulfur. So many people on that comments on that video and stuff said, you know, they said they had a big problem with the way that I added it. It said, never ever add the caustic soda to the water. You have to blah, blah, blah. You have to do it in this method. This is irresponsible and all that. Say, okay, guys, well, guess what? I didn't invent the method. And I am simply showing you, streamlining the process that Jadam has invented. So you could take it up with him, but I do know for sure, because I've tried it, that the order in which you add the ingredients is very important because you need that blast of heat. So typically, I forget what it is. Typically, like in soap making, though, you would add the liquid. I think this is how it goes. You would add the liquids first, and then you would slowly sprinkle in the caustic stuff, and it would be more controlled and slower and safer. Yes, but that's not going to get that blast of heat that we need. So when you're making the sulfur, you got to do it in the exact sequence that I showed you in the video, and that will produce that blast of heat. Now stand back, you know, wear your protective gear and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I didn't have a shirt on, so it was hot that day and everything, and I've done it so many times that I know what to expect and everything. Yeah, definitely don't get it on you. Definitely don't get it on you. Always wear eye protection, though. That's one thing I never compromise on. Always wear eye protection. A little chemical burn to the skin, but the eyes, this is not messing around. So let's see, just me, $20, first tip of the day, my friend. Thank you very much. He says, we love you, man. Yes, I love you guys as well. Definitely. Send me more pictures of the garden, especially after you chopped out so much stuff. I just have this image in my mind of now like a barren garden when you didn't have anything to put back into it. But you gotta always have stuff to put back into it, okay? But you guys still got plenty of time down there, so. Let's see here. Danny Howell says, how do I combat moles? They cause problems in the garden. Yeah, guys, what is your recommendations? Danielle says, hey, Nate, will poison ivy break down in the compost? Pooh, I don't think so. No, I would not even remotely, do that. I wouldn't count on it breaking down. What is the active ingredient in the poison ivy? Urushiol, is that right? Urushiol, something like this. And it can remain active for over 1 year, okay? You knew I was disappointed. Yeah, I know. I don't try and hide it. But it can remain active. The urushiol, the active ingredient in the poison ivy, can remain, like if you get it on your boots or if you get it on your gloves or if you get it on your tools, and the essential oil, it will for up to a year or even more, every time you touch that glove or every time you touch that rake or those boots, you will get it again. It's a nightmare, guys. So if you're super sensitive to it, or if you're sensitive to it. So with that in mind, I would not compost poison ivy. I would absolutely dispose of it in the trash can, maybe. Or burn it, as long as you don't breathe in any of the inhalations. You know, it's tricky, but you got to get rid of that stuff, man. It is, I pretty much have poison ivy all summer long. Just a general poison ivy all summer long. Okay, let us see here. Work from home dog mom. That's a good name. Very descript. Very descript. And so she says, Nate, my female Tahitian melon flowers don't fall off and turn brown, and the baby Tahitian melon just sits on it. And do you pull female flowers off to prevent the bottom rotting like on mine? No. It's you just totally let them do their thing. Now I have to, without seeing pictures of what you're talking about, if you're on Instagram, then you can send me or post a picture and then tag me in it, or send me a picture, whatever way you want to do it, so that I can see it. But I think, or the Facebook, post it on my Facebook wall. That would be good as well, because I'm just running with that Facebook group. So any questions, just post it on the wall of the Garden Like a Viking Facebook, because we want to get more so that more people can see. Because I get this question all the time: what happens when my thing is not? Because I believe that it's pollination. It's probably not sufficient pollination. So if you watch the video that I made a week or two ago about the bloom fertilizer, you will see that I give some illustration, or maybe it was about the harvesting as well. But in those two videos, I take you out into the garden. I kind of show you guys what's going on. And you can see one of my summer squash plants, okay? One of the summer squash plants. And you will look in there, and there's so many pollinators. There's like 3 bees or whatever kind of insect per flower. They're just buzzing all around there because I got flowers packed, jam-packed in this whole property. You know, all my other neighbors, it's like a wasteland of food for pollinators because there's no weeds, because they put weed and feed on their garden. They don't have flowering landscapes. A couple of them do. Thankfully, these people right next door are super all natural type. But we're like the only two, really. And so the bees, the insects flock to this like an oasis. And so kind of just pollinating everything. If you don't get sufficient pollination, that will happen. The fruit, the Tahitian melon or whatever it is, any of the melons, the cucurbitas, any of these families, they're going to say, okay, we're going to start life, and then they're going to be nice and vigorous and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and stuff, and then they're going to be waiting for the pollination, and then they're going to just be waiting and waiting, and if they don't get pollinated, or if they don't get proper pollination, then it will say, okay, well, this life isn't for us, and so time to abort. Let us just sacrifice ourselves for the good of the entire plant, so it doesn't waste energy trying to develop an unfertilized fruit, and so it will abort. So you can cut those ones off. Once you see them rotting on that end, you can cut them off and try to plant more flowers in there. You can also hand pollinate if you really have a problem. Some people have no pollinator activity or insufficient pollinator activity. So in that case, what I have done before is you go out early in the morning when all the flowers are nice and wide open, and you have to identify the male flowers though. Okay, you have to look it up. I'm not going to even try and explain it right here, but you have to solidly identify the male flowers, and then you can pluck the male blossom, and you can peel it back to reveal the it's not the stigma, I forget the exact term, but it's the male part, and you can brush it on the female flower, and you can hand pollinate it. I mean, really brush it around there good, and that will help. But that's only a short-term solution. Long-term, you need to plant way more flowers in your area. And if for some reason, if you send me the picture on Instagram and that's not it, then it will probably be incomplete nutrient absorption of some kind. So I need to see what kind of pot it's in, what kind of, if it's in a pot, if it's in a raised bed in the ground. There's a lot of factors. Stomata. Okay, that's right. That's right. Stamen. Yes. Okay, now we're on the right path, on the right track. You guys know what I'm talking about. So that's a long-winded answer about that. Okay. Joe says, grew up in Brooklyn, New York, Nate, hence the accent. I will send those cuttings. Is it best when dormant or now? You can do it now. You can do it now pretty much because because I will need to root them and stuff. So yeah, I mean, when we take cuttings off of like the currants and things, we do it sort of late summer almost fall really. So I don't have enough experience with it to know for sure to definitively say, guys, help us out. If we are trying to clone and root, take the cuttings off of like gooseberries, or there's a number of different berry bushes that Joe has. If we're trying to take cuttings from them, what is the best time of year to do it? I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I would say the springtime would be the best because they got that fresh growth, the growth hormones happening. But that being said, I think we can do it about any time, so long as there is not fruit on the vine. Yeah, so I don't know. These are all things that we will experiment with in depth over the years. Once we get the land and the school starts and everything, we will know the answers to all of these questions because we will systematically and scientifically do all of this stuff. We will nurture the land. We will create food for us. We will have so many thriving things, and we will know the answers to all of these questions, like beyond any shadow of any doubt, and so that is really good. D. Wright, $20, my friend. Thank you for the tip. Says, is the Jadam sulfur that didn't boil still usable? Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Okay, yes, it is still usable. So how much sediment is there? Send me a picture on Instagram or post it to the Facebook page wall. Do it like that, because many people have gotten this question. So I'm starting to recommend to use the Facebook page. So just go to there. Don't send me a private message. Just post it to the wall of the actual Garden Like a Viking group. That way I can direct people when we're having our conversation. I can direct others to that, because tons of people have this experience of it not dissolving all the way. So I will have to see how undissolved. If there's still big clumps of it, then something went wrong. But if there's just a little bit of sediment and stuff like that, it's not going to be a problem. So Busy Girl says, bees love oregano and lamb's ear, full of all kinds of bees. They do. They love oregano and fennel. So that's right, Busy Girl. In my garden, I've got oregano all over the place, and they love it. I mean, they are swarming around it. So, because it's so odoriferous, they smell it for so long. But nothing compares to the fennel plant. The fennel plant I planted like 4 years ago, and it just keeps coming back. I cut it to the ground late summer every year, and it just grows massive, 7, 8 feet tall, 7, 8, 10 feet across and stuff, and just swarming with pollinators. I mean, you can just sit there. I just sit there sometimes and look at it, and it's just like a metropolis of pollinator activity. So Mick, what's up, my friend, says, question, when should I harvest Jerusalem artichoke for the pesticide solution? You can harvest it in the late fall. It would probably be best. Before the plants die back, I like to do it in the fall, because that's when the most tubers have been produced. The tuber formation is going to be maximized at that time. So, but if you need it right now, go ahead and harvest it right now. You know, but if you've only got a couple of them and you're trying to multiply it, make sure you don't take too many of the tubers. But because most of the pest repellent stuff is in the tuber. So you can, if you're trying to make some for next year and stuff, then you can wait till late summer, you know, till they're in full bloom and they've already produced multiple tubers and stuff like that. So yes. Jerry says, back on board the ship and ready for the long voyage, no matter what. My friend, I read that comment on the other channel, and I wasn't sure what you mean by that exactly. Hey, thank you, by the way. Yes, appreciate that. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that you are at the farm still, the campus farm, or the home farm? You know, because you got two farms, which is crazy. Crystal says, anyone have ideas for squash vine borers? Injected BT already, but they are struggling still. Yeah, everyone just says inject BT. You know, I don't have a lot of experience utilizing BT because I actually haven't had issues with the vine borers. I mean, I did a couple years ago in one of the garden projects, but it just killed everything. And so, okay, it was all dead. But I always have backups. You got to have backups of backups all over the place. So if they get that patch, then, well, there will be a couple other plants at this patch, you know, or whatever. But I'm not entirely sure yet how to deal with the squash vine borers. I do know, though, that the Jadam wetting agent at 3 ounces a gallon will kill the eggs. So if you can apply it when they're still young, and if you can get the larvae when they're outside of the vine, the Jadam wetting agent will kill it. And in fact, you can make that slug solution from the video, the ultimate slug solution, that will wipe them out. The eggs and the larvae, but not once they get inside the vine. So that's the issue. Once they're inside the vine, in my experience, it has been a terminal diagnosis. Now, a couple of you guys have said that that's not at all the case, that you inject the BT into the vine and that they always recover, which that's awesome. That's fantastic. I don't have enough personal experience with that method to be able to say that confidently. In the future, though, you can guarantee that I will be trying that. If I see the squash vine borers inside, if I see the activity of it, which is usually heartbreaking, immediately I will be injecting the BT. So then I will know for sure. See, all these kind of things we will know with the land, and there will be so many experiments and stuff. And I'll be able to say, absolutely, you want to do it this at this time, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Rustin says, "Hey Nate, how can I control or eliminate Japanese knotweed?" Ooh, I don't know. I don't have any idea how to do that because I don't know what that plant is. Christine, definitely grabbing anything green. Okay, you guys are talking. Good, good. Busy Girl says, willow trees have a hormone, and if you cut a branch and use the water or use your trimmings, it helps to in starting roots. Yes, absolutely. And that was a video that I was going to make this spring, but I couldn't find the proper, because we used to use this stuff to help root our cuttings in California. Because as I tell you guys a lot of times, the fertilizer chemical industry and stuff is just full of clever marketing scams and stuff like that. As is the health food industry and all that kind of stuff. The supplement industry, it's all mostly scam. And there used to be this stuff called Tappan Roots in Northern California. It's huge. And it's like, I want to say at the time, I want to say it was like $500 for the 5-gallon jug of it. Okay. And we had to use one a week. And so, I mean, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in nutrients. I mean, crazy. But that's when I come to find out that, and I was talking to a guy who knows the guys that make it, that it's mostly just willow extract. And so that's when I learned to start making the willow extract ourselves. And it's every bit as effective. So yeah, video coming in the spring, though. You have to get it when it's in the spring, and it has to be the right type of willow and the right location on the plant. So it's a bit more complex than just taking willow and soaking it in water. Well, it's definitely more complex than that. So Cheesecake says, Nate, how do you grill your patty pan squash? Guys, there's a video coming this week that will show you exactly how I do it, okay? Because like what I said last week, the metrics on the channel, have just gone plummeted off a cliff. And that's true again. I just released another video and another short, and every one of them just performing worse than any video, just progressively worse. The past 3 weeks, the videos have just performed worse than the last one. Just dead last in the ranking system. So obviously I've fallen out of favor with the algorithm, but that's fine, because actually what this has done is it has helped me to relax a little bit in the sense that I'm just going to put out a bunch of videos over the next couple weeks that I've been meaning to put out, but yet haven't, because I was afraid, because I know that they're a less popular topic. But if none of the videos, I put out a fertilizer video, a banana fertilizer video, a potassium fertilizer. Watch it before it's not just banana tea, it's nothing like that. And it just plummeted. Horrible performance. And the fertilizer videos on this channel always explode, but this one was a joke. And then so was the next one about the harvesting and stuff, just barely any viewership. So I got to take this to as a sign to say, hey, you need to relax a little bit and not worry about the performance of the videos, and just put out the videos that you've been meaning to put out, but you have been too hesitant to. So that's how I view that kind of thing. So for that reason, I'm going to put out the video about grilling the squash, and I will show you guys. So these are the patty pan squash, and this one is borderline. This one is almost too big, okay? I have a pretty decent sized hand, and so this one is about too big. Really, these are ideal, okay? Really, this is ideal. The palm of your hand. And you can take them when they're this big as well. And it's gonna be super good and tender. Okay, once they get to this size though, that's too big, and that's too big for grilling. What we do with this is we cut it open, scoop out the seed cavity, and fill it with some good high quality ground beef with some of the alliums, and oh man, it's so good. Some of the summer savory, and then broil it. Yeah. But for the grilling the patty pans, we will take them, and you'll see in the video this week where we will cut it right about here like this. We'll cut this off, slather olive oil on all sides, and then put salt and garlic powder on it, and that's it. and then we grill it face down for about 3 minutes on high heat, and that's it. Then we take it off, and but I make it with an allium char that is game changing. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay. And so that is what's important, is the allium char. There's all these little things that you'll have to see in the video, okay? And I know when I say grilling, it's not what you guys are thinking, so you'll have to see, all right? Gabe says, I think everyone feels they've learned everything through your content. Yes, thank you. Oh, maybe they feel like they've just learned everything and there's nothing more to learn. Well, that could be too. Maybe that's why the channel just goes like that. But guys, there's always more to learn, of course, always. And but see, it's only going to be like this kind of videos for the next couple years, and then I'm going to be out of this place and onto the land, and then it will transform into a whole different journey, guys. So I can see it already. So Missy says, immediately got the banana mix brewing after the video posted. Can't believe it tanked. Amazing video. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Where was the... Okay. Scott Miller says, Nate, if you dig up new growth shoots or the berry plants, I'm sending blueberries. Is there at least one root? There is at least one root in dug up shoot, wrapped wet, paper towels and plastic, then plant in soil when arrives. Okay, good. Yes. If you got the bare roots, I definitely know what to do with those. That would be awesome. Lisa T says, Nate, we are watching. Those are great videos. Thank you, my friend. Yes, of course. The inner circle tribe is always there, of course, because they're hungry for the knowledge. They want to know, and they want to learn. And they know that the more tools in the gardening repertoire, the more it's all about utilizing what you have available. And so the more solutions that you understand how to make and stuff, then just the more diverse, the easier you can flow. You can walk to the co-op one day, and if you see, for example, that they've got bananas marked down half price because they're starting to rot or they're starting to over ripen, you can say, hey, you know what? I remember we can make a bloom fertilizer out of these, along with the labs and the molasses and the ashes and stuff from the video. Then you'll say, hey, I'll take 20 pounds of them, and you'll make a big batch of the fertilizer, you know? And so it's good to have all those things in the back of the mind. So let us see here. Big Wes had a question I wanted to get to. Let's see here. Big Wes says, question, I gave 1 cup of labs. It's stabilized with brown sugar and molasses. Can I use it to a gallon of milk, or should I make new rice wash and restart? Definitely. 1, because we never use molasses when we're stabilizing any of the K&F ferments. We only use brown sugar. So that is a common misconception. So if you're trying to stabilize the labs, which I haven't made a video on it yet, but I will, you only use the brown sugar, never molasses, because the molasses does not have the osmotic pressure that we need in order to lull the microorganisms to sleep. It gets a little more complex when you start trying to do K&F type stuff. And so definitely just start over, and the sugars would throw your batch off big time. So no, you're going to want to start with fresh rice wash to make the labs. Yeah. I mean, you'll make something. It'll be some kind of fertilizer, but it won't be like the cheese, and it won't be classic labs. All right. So let's see here. TC says, I tell everyone to watch your channel. Thank you, my friend. That's a #1 way to support. And so the Look to Nature says, Patty Pan seeds just came in today for next year. Yes, I highly recommend this this variety. I forget the name of it, but it's like an ancient Native American variety. The Native Americans grew this. Records back to the 1500s of this exact type of squash, and for good reason, because it is so prolific, guys. If you I mean, I wish I could show you this, but these squash plants are like 7 feet across, and they're producing a dozen squash a day each. A dozen a day. I'm like swimming in this. I'm eating like 4. I mean, I'm gorging myself on these, trying to grill them and stuff like that, because the summer squash is it's a gift of midsummer. It's only going to be here another month or so. So yes, white scallop. That's exactly white scallop squash. Thank you. And oh, that's the kind that you got as well? Good, good, because that's what these are. And they produce, each plant is producing like a dozen a day. And so you just gorge yourself on them while they're fresh. That's what it's all about, eating with the seasons. And this kind of philosophy will be in the book, in the gardening book that I am creating, should hopefully be out by the spring. And you will eat with the seasons. And so you eat what is currently in abundance. And so these summer squash come in about late July through the beginning of September, about 6 weeks. And there's a ton of them. And so you just eat them every way you can. They're coming out your ears. And this is how the human was designed to eat, because we have systems within us that can store nutrients, vitamins and minerals, life force energies, that can store all of that within us for long periods of time. And so you want to get all of the vitamins and minerals that these have to offer, which is abundant. There's lots in these. So you eat as many as you can, all right? Along with other stuff that is the leafy greens, you know, that is in like spinach and kale and the collard greens. The collard greens are summertime, you know, really good all throughout summer. The mustard greens, these are all good for summertime. Definitely gorge yourself on that kind of stuff as it is in season. Eat the green onions. Eat the green onions all summer long. Save these onions for the winter time, because these are your storage onions. And so that's why I'm eating green onions every day. All right. Oh, Julianne says, Nate, YouTube won't allow us to click the like button on new videos. What? That's not good. Therefore, the algorithm is awful. Yeah, the algorithm. AI, everyone thinks it's artificial intelligence. I say it's algorithmic intelligence, and it's already here. It's so yes, these are for the storage. And you know what else is for the storage to eat over the winter time is the garlic, guys. This garlic, compliments of Jerry again. Thank you, and his family has gave me some of these garlics last year, and they are a super delicious variety. Very good, about 10 good cloves per head, and very pungent. So these are nice. And these you eat all winter long. And for that reason, that is why we stay nice and healthy and eating with the plants, with the seasons. We're making tea out of the things that are in season, the lemon verbena, the lemon balm, the mint, all the different kinds of mints. Although mint by now, you should have took the hedge trimmers to it right before it starts to flower. Take the hedge trimmers to it, cut it down real short, about 4 or 5 inches from the ground. And I know it's going to look like a bunch of twigs and it's going to look decimated, but it's not. So long as you got it before it all goes to flower, it's going to grow right back. And so then you'll have fresh, good, delicious stuff. Okay? And that is how you get it all. And so make your teas and stuff like that all throughout the summer, but also be mindful of the winter time, when you will not have this abundance, this grocery store that is all around me right now. This whole property is just like a huge grocery store at the moment. And but you want to prepare for the 6 months where nothing is growing. Okay, and the way that we do that is that we use foresight, and of course we got our storage squashes, or our storage stuff. And oh, Linda, let's talk prepping. Thank you very much. Good to see you here, my friend. Guys, check her channel out. Ms. T, good to see you here as well. And what was I saying? Yes, so you want to have the storage crops that you store and eat over the winter time, but you want to have the summer stuff that you eat during the summertime. So these are for the winter time, and the green onions are for the summertime, and you eat those during the summer. These are summer squash. You eat them all summer long. The winter squash you eat all winter long because it stores. It's of a much denser, different kind of nutrient profile. And so these are summer squash. Do you get what I'm saying? And then we want to harvest our herbs, definitely. This is sage, some really delicious, guys, sage, oh man. When you're trying to make red rice or red beans and rice, oh man, or when you're making a stew, all different kinds of stuff. So I've got about 20 little bundles of this hanging all over the house. And I just take some of this stuff. I get it from like the Asian market. It's just, food twine. 100% cotton. I just twist it around, tie it like this, and then hang it like this. And I've got these garlands all over the house, so it smells really wonderful. But they just dry naturally. And then I will literally just leave it there and then use it like this. In the wintertime, I'll come and I will just break off like a whole branch like this. And I will just take this whole thing, put it into the thing of beans, or the thing of smoked turkey leg with collard green. Oh, in the fall time, so good. So many things. And but you gotta do it now, because once the sage starts to flower, then it's going to shift its energy from the essential oil production, which it's doing now. That's why it's so odoriferous. I know you guys like that word. Once it starts to flower, then it's going to shift its energy from the essential oil resin production to the reproductive functioning, and so it's going to lose its flavorful. It's going to lose its flavor, and it's magic, right, Big Wes? So, oh yeah, yes. Missy says smoked turkey leg, a real Viking thing. Oh my goodness, yes. Take a huge smoked turkey leg and stew it in a pot of collard greens with a couple of sprigs, about 2 sprigs of the homegrown sage, a couple of bay leaves, and about a whole head of garlic and a whole onion like this. Oh man, you can throw in some summer savory. I got that drying all over the place, and just let it stew down for a long time. And then you pick the after about 2 hours, the turkey leg will become soft, and then you will remove it, let it cool down, pick all the turkey off of the bone, and then put the meat back into there, and then take the bone, turn it into a fertilizer, put it in the compost, bury it, or break it apart and let it still stew with the rest of the way. And guys, it is so good like that. Yes. So cooking is a whole nother aspect. Cooking is the whole other thing. So many people are growing a lot of things, but they're like, yeah, that's great, but I don't really know how to use it. Or they think that, well, I'm not familiar with that plant, and so we don't need to grow it. Well, you need to get familiar with it. You need to, as many different plants into the body as possible. This is the key. This is the goal. This is the ideal way. Especially when we have a garden. So if you're not accustomed to eating the patty pan squash, well, get accustomed to it. Plant one and learn ways to eat it so that it's delicious. That's what you want to do. You can then, now is also the time to ferment stuff. So if you are, guys, I only had 2, I think 1, maybe 2, maybe it's 2, pickling cucumber plants this year, because I had so many pickles, jars and jars of pickles last year. I got a little burnt out. These are fermented pickles, not vinegar. This is lacto fermented. These are alive, guys. You see the bubbles? Probably. And so I didn't even plant one. Okay, look, see the bubbles in this one? See how it's all coming to the top? That's because this one was just from the 26th. So I didn't even plant a pickling cucumber plant this year on the trellis, but one of them came up from one of the cucumbers that I let fall to the ground last year. And so it was a volunteer cucumber right where it needed to be. So I just let it go, and it's like one plant, but it produces enough every like 3 days to make one of these. So I've just been making these. I've got like 3 or 4 jars of this so far, and just make it as needed. Definitely watch the video. Ooh yeah, you see all them bubbles coming up? Oh yeah. That's how you know that good fermentation is happening. It's just made this on the 26th, but it is definitely going to be, oh yeah. So good. So good. With the garlic and the bay leaf and stuff. Yes. And okay, so let's see what you guys have been saying. Do a video for that cucumber ferment, Deacon MMA. Yes, actually I have one last year. Go check it out. I said it's under the Preserving the Harvest playlist, and preserving cucumbers the ancient way, because this doesn't require refrigeration or garlic, or I never use pickle crisp or any of that kind of stuff that I feel like is cheating. So no, we just lacto ferment these things, guys, and they are like a spectacle, an event. Super good. Big Brain says, tell us about your lids. Oh yeah, these are, my mom originally turned me on to these many years ago, but I like them a lot. They are leak proof. Well, they claim, I can't believe that they say leak proof. They're not leak proof, that's for sure. They're highly leak resistant though. And so they're reusable, very, very sturdy. You know, they're kind of expensive, but they are, I mean, that makes all the sense because actually the metal lids, guys, are designed only for canning, because they are made in such a way that they rust really fast, and they don't really, for this kind of thing with the salt, it will corrode the band of the metals, and you'll be, you know, it'll get stuck and there'll be rust all over after just a few days. But these, they don't rust, and so maybe I'll put a link in the description to that. So these work really well. A couple things I wanted to show you guys though. When you, and these are just things I use. Nobody's sponsoring me in any way. I am just saying that guys, I used to live my life by headlamps in Northern California. I used to live my life by headlamps because it was so blazing hot, 120 degrees in the greenhouses during the day, but in the evening and nighttime we could do the work. So I know headlamps intimately. I mean, I got so many different ones over the years. You see all these different headlamps, real top of the line, expensive ones and stuff. And I can tell you that this is how I know. So for just general gardening, get this one, guys. It is so lightweight and it just clips on, and it's got real simple, just press it and hold. And the battery lasts a long time. It's USB rechargeable. You just put the USB recharger in there, charge it back up, and it lasts like a long time. So if you are trying to find slugs and stuff like that, this is so good, and it just fits in your pocket. I put a link in the description. It's just to the Amazon. So check it out, and I highly recommend it. Okay, very bright, very lightweight, and this is what I use myself. If you need something with more force, there's this Phoenix brand, there's another one. See, this one's old. I've had this one since my days in Northern California, many years ago. And this one's much more powerful, much more heavy, but it lasts a long time. A lot heavier, but it's really fantastic. So if you guys are into headlamps, I put links in the description to both of those. If you want them, you can check them out. Let's see here. Mick says, every day I start a new jar of pickles after harvesting the day's cukes. Nice. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Because I found that, see, in years past, I've always done it like, okay, I'm going to make pickles, and so I'm going to plant 15 cucumber plants so that I can make a big batch of pickles, you know, and I was all super over-energetic and enthused about it, and then I'd be waiting forever, and the cucumber plants would just sit there with their 2 leaves out for weeks on end, and I'd just be looking at them, and I'd just be, man, I should have planted more. And so all 15 plants, but then they'll start growing, and then what seems to be overnight, I will be like, oh my gosh, they've totally engulfed the entire trellis, and there's just cucumbers everywhere. There's so many cucumbers now that I've got a huge bucket, and I can't even, they're all getting too big, and I'm wasting a bunch of them because I can't even process them that fast. So after I made like 40 jars of fermented pickles last year, there was just still kept producing more, and I was like, okay, I don't need this many, you know. So I was a little overzealous with that. So really a good way to do it is like what I described. Just have 1 or 2 plants and then make them as it comes in, all right? Let's see. Missy says, Nate releases his videos at the time of the season when it's most beneficial and necessary, and actually time to use the information and knowledge. This is exactly correct. I'm glad that you realize and recognize that, because that's exactly what I try to do. Try to make it relevant, because, you know, if I released a video right now about growing mushrooms indoors during the middle of winter, it wouldn't really make sense, you know, to most of us. So I like to, any video I put out is something that can be used now. Let's see here. Julie says, question, can I put shredded printer paper in my compost? Absolutely, yes. Unless it's got like some kind of gnarly gloss on it or something. But if it's just printer paper, definitely, yeah. Yeah. Some people will say, oh, it's been bleached and all of that kind of stuff, but I've never had any problem with it. So if it's just paper, you can put it in there, yes. Even though I'll never compost these because these are lovely handwritten notes from some of you guys. Thank you so much. How many of you guys have like memory boxes? I have boxes. I mean, like multiple boxes now of just things like that. Notes and letters and things from when I was young, you know, in grade school, little love letters and stuff. I don't even think people do that anymore. It's like texting. So just little trinkets over the years that have an emotional connection, you know. I like that kind of stuff. Let's see. Wayne says, like right now, big yellow cukes. Yeah, big yellow cucumbers, the plant's gonna stop producing. Yeah. Let's see here. Busy Girl says, I love my headlamp. So handy. Yes, definitely is. Mama T says, please put the plastic lid link in the description. Yes, I will do that because there are knockoff brand ones. I wouldn't recommend those. I just wouldn't recommend. When you're doing this kind of stuff, you want to get the real deal, the Ball or the Mason. You know, you want the real ones. You don't save 5 cents by getting the ones that are made in China or whatever. Maybe these are made in China too, but no. Don't save 5 cents trying to get the knockoff ones. And let's see here. How about shredded cardboard for mulch? Yes, you could do that. Shredded cardboard? Yeah, you can do that. How about just sheets of cardboard? Also works really good. Freebird says, all my tall plants went down last night, including my cucumber vines. Lost the top of my greenhouse. Too sad day for my garden. Oh, man. Yes, my heart is with you, Freebird. I know how that feels, but you just replant. You just replant. You just trim off the parts that are not working. You just prop back up the cucumber plants, tie them up with some yarn or something soft so that they can get the idea, and you just carry on. Yeah, that's what you have to do. You just carry on, not lament the past or what has happened, and just look to the future, of course, and to the now, because you will still be able to get abundance. So figure out what you have to do, and you will have success, my friend. Yes, my heart is with you. Let's see here. LOL, Nate, you're an old schooler. Love it. Yes, that's true. That's true. It's crazy. I'm at an age now where I can say, oh, I'm old school about it. Yeah, and mean it. I mean, for real. So, Cheesecake says, what's humic acid good for? Yes, that, man, I could go in depth with humic acid and what it is and what it does. But it basically is like, in layman's, in simple terms, it basically goes out and grabs nutrients and sort of helps to transport them to the roots, essentially. So it's really good for the soil. And it's naturally exists in the soil as well. Most humic acid is mined, though, from like a leonardite, like a quasi-coal shale type thing that, we could do a whole video on humic acid because it gets a little in depth. Kevin Davis, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate the tip. And he has no question. He just says, thank you for your time. And you are welcome, my friend. Stone Creek says, whoa, I'm way late. Was out scrubbing the porch. Well, better late than never. Question. So Julie says, question. Have you brown cucamelons? I've never heard of this. They do make type of brown cucumbers and stuff, though, yes. Which would be, let me know what you think about that. Let me know your experience. Pam says, my earthworms love shredded paper. I now have an old bath in our garage for my earthworms. Yes, definitely. The earthworms love cardboard as well. The earthworms love it. Let's see here. Hello. Yes, we do. I just cleaned out my boxes and put my memories in photo albums and binders. Yes, I know. Me too. I got boxes of it. Cookie Monkey says, with 2 part-time jobs and 6 grandkids in sports, plus gardening, animals, and canning, your shorts are a godsend. Ooh, okay. Wait. Where is the... Your shorts are a godsend time saver. Definitely love the lives, though. Okay, well, see, that's good feedback because, making the shorts is, I'm always just like, well, Yeah, well, they're still beneficial though. They're still, I mean, obviously. So I get it. So thank you. That's inspiring, or motivating for me to maybe make some more shorts. The only thing is that the shorts don't pay. I mean, they do technically, but you got to get millions and millions of views on them. So it's once you become a full-time content creator, and you're just trusting that it's all gonna happen, and that you're not gonna get like banned or shadow banned, or that you're not gonna get, I don't know what. It's just so uncertain, really. But you just have to roll with it. You just have to roll with it and do it, because there's no way to be like a professional social media person and also be like trying to have a full-time job. I mean, in the sense that, the garden and the projects and the coming up with the ideas and the incorporating the business and all of these things that have to happen is to do it right. It's like full-time, so there'd be no way it could have a job of some other kind. This would suffer dramatically. So Rob Lena says, dude, I love your channel. I started making your liquid fertilizer with my ducks' pond water. Nice. Yes, that will work. Have some added nutrients from the ducks. Freebird says, thank you, Nate and Moondust, for your uplifting words of encouragement. Of course, my friend. Stone Creek, everyone just believes in commercial fertilizers. Yes, definitely they do. And especially like in the cannabis industry and in so many, but in the normal garden industry as well, there's a lot of it, but definitely in the cannabis industry, because there was a lot of money involved in from the farmers and stuff. And so there was so many marketing techniques and tactics that would just pull people right in. And they were so convinced that this little new thing was going to just add this level of this and that to their brew or to their plants. And they'd have 5,000 different kinds of bottles and stuff, thousands of dollars invested in these nutrients. And over the years, like I tell you guys over and over, I come to the direct experiential knowledge that these are a scam. Most of them are a scam. Most, not all, but most. And if you're doing it organically, you can make this stuff yourself. That's the whole thing. It's like, man, this is scam on top of a scam. All the love is in the live. Yes, Wayne, I understand what you're saying. I feel the love, definitely. And Outside in Georgia says, I use a mulch bag on my lawnmower. Not just grass, but leaves and twigs get mulched too. I just dump it straight in the garden. I love this, and now it makes me like cutting grass. Yes, that is. If you guys got a bagger on your mower, oh my goodness. And I will show you some pictures of one of the garden projects that I have. And we'll be doing the roof stout type potatoes. I'm working on making this video. And the grass clippings, guys, once you get a bagger, it changes the game. It really does. And you are able to suppress weeds. You are able to fertilize the plants with it. You're able to do so much. So if you have the land where you can harvest your grass clippings, fortunately at this plot, it's perfect. There's several acres of just grass. And so it's wild grass, it can grow tall and stuff, but then mow it down. It works really good, real good. Pam says, I love your shorts. Love to push that thumbs up just because I am a Garden Like a Viking follower. That's right, my friend, part of the Viking tribe. And yes, we will be getting the merch, definitely. Won't be too long once I get a few other things sorted out. And can't wait to see you guys. Man, it's going to be super cool. I'm going to have some kind of, contest or something like that where you could get the merch and then take a picture of yourself wearing it, like in your garden or something. Man, wouldn't that be awesome? And then we could see it all. Post it to like the Facebook wall on the Garden Like a Viking group. That would be cool. Something like that. And see, so we can see you guys' stuff. And especially when harvest season is coming up. We want to see your harvest. This is always important, because it's the harvest that really inspires people. That's why I love to just hold up the onion sometime and say, look, guys, 100% natural, beyond organic, way beyond organic, super nutrient rich, and living soil. The soil that these were grown in is going to be more fertile than before I came to it. That's really my philosophy is whatever land you become the steward of, make it more fertile, more giving of life, more bursting with life. And that's why it's like, look, You can do that. You don't have to have any chemical fertilizers, or you don't have to lime your soil or check your pH and get a soil test. And guys, you don't have to do any of that, and you can get this amazing stuff. Okay, and so it's I used to pH my soil like crazy in Northern California. I used to spend countless hours adjusting the pH of nutrient solutions and all this stuff, until over the years I came to the understanding that pH makes no difference. If you adjusting the pH of your soil makes no difference. The plant will adjust the area around its root, called the rhizosphere. It will adjust the pH to exactly what it needs, based upon the type of microorganisms that it attracts. And so all the people trying to dump lime in their soil, and they're so concerned about soil pH and all of this testing pH, that's all just busy work, useless busy work, guys. And I can say this with total confidence from years of experience: you don't have to pH your soil. You just need to make sure that it is bursting with life. This is the key, so that the plant can formulate the relationships that it needs with those microorganisms, so the microorganisms can create the right pH. It's all about the rhizosphere. What the pH is in the soil 6 feet away, or even 5 inches away from the roots, from the furthest reach of the root, isn't going to matter. It only matters where the root is in contact with the nutrients. And so if you've got a bursting soil food web, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, okay? It can just simplify all of it. Juniper Hill Farm says, looking forward to your merch. So appreciate you sharing all your knowledge. I've learned so much from Northeast Cali. All right, my friend. So yes, that would be cool when you guys get the merch, take some pictures and stuff, and that will just be a trip. It's already a trip seeing you guys send this stuff to the P.O. box, man. There's handwritten letters and some little bit of cash tips and CD, link, man. Can't wait to pop that in. And an old stone arrowhead. I mean, super cool stuff. Look at this. And I know, Link, this one came off your property, I'm sure, because we were talking about it during the consultation. But man, like I said at the beginning, you got to tell me more about this. I want to know the story. Super cool. Thank you. And you can keep them coming. And with that being said, I forget what the address is, so I can't even tell you right now. I'll put it in the description of this. Actually, I'm going to put it in the About section of the channel. So if you guys want to send something, just go to the About section of the channel, and you will see the P.O. box. I can get packages now. Yeah. I was like not sure at first. I was like, so how do I thought they were going to send me an email when I got a package, and I was like, well, this is weird. I didn't get anything. And then so I just went there yesterday, and they were like, oh, finally. And he brought out this big box with a bunch of these packages, and I came back with this whole thing. So that was pretty cool. Thank you, guys. Hans Ketchup says, the rhizosphere loves my squash. They are huge. Yes, definitely. That's one way to put it. Yes. The squash plants love the rhizosphere that they are able to create. Let us see here. Real CLS says, my collard greens are very leggy. Is that normal? Post a picture to the Facebook group, and then I will be able to know. To the Facebook Garden Like a Viking page. Post it to the wall of that, and then I will be able to tell you. Because what kind of sun exposure are they getting? That's first and foremost. Because typically legginess, and I would have to see a picture to know how leggy it is, and then I would have to see the environment that they're in to know what the problem is. Because if a seedling is leggy, it's typically under supplied with light, not enough light, so it's seeking out the light, and it's overwatered. Yes, because there's not enough light, and so the water is not being consumed as fast as it should. So let's see here. So send me that picture and let me know. But otherwise, collard green seedlings can be kind of leggy at first, yes, but they shouldn't be that leggy. So that's why I need to see the picture. Ursula says, just tuning in for a moment. So good to see you having all your belated B-Day gifts. You are so deserving. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. I do. And Jerry says the squash on plastic is prolific and the weeds would be insane otherwise. Yes, definitely, Jerry. So Jerry, we just did the squash, or we just did the plastic sheets where we are planting directly into that. And so we are capturing the groundwater that is existent there, the moisture through the capillary action, as you guys have heard me talk about before. And that is having good results. So yes, thank you. Send me some pictures, Jerry, if you can, because I definitely want to see that. And see how they're doing. Have you harvested yet? Is there enough pollinator activity? Yeah, I would love to make it down again. Let me know when the right time would be for just a visit. Scott Miller says, organic question, do organic living soil grown plants go into lockout? No, not really. They don't. Lockout is almost a myth. I know a lot of people are going to say, no, it's not, because they have an understanding of chemistry and all that and say, these nutrients are only available in this pH range. Yeah, but that's not how it works in a biological system. If you're doing hydroponics where everything has to be chemical, or if you're doing something, the theory of lockout makes sense from a chemistry standpoint, but the biological system isn't like that. It's not so cut and dry. So no, it's not lockout. If you're using organics and stuff like that, and someone tells you you've got lockout, then that's residual belief system from chemical farming. And so no. What you need to do if you think you have lockout, you need to identify sort of what is happening. So is it a nitrogen? Are they sort of hungry for nitrogen? Are they sort of hungry for magnesium? The plants will tell you all of this when you look at it. It takes a while to learn, but after some practice, you can tell immediately just by looking at it. But then you have to get the biology happening. So Jadam microbial solution or the aerated compost teas, and pump it into the soil and onto the leaves. And that's going to help the plant to be able to produce or to get all the stuff that it needs. So Scott Miller says, bro science. Yeah. In a way, it's like bro science. It's weird though. It's like, because if a lot of these guys, and I ran into these guys in California all the time, man, these growers that they had just the perfect recipes and everything, and they knew all this stuff because they were a chemistry major at such a UC whatever, and but then their plants was like, well, okay, and stuff, and they're just, it wasn't thriving, the stuff wasn't bursting, and it wasn't because they had such a good understanding of the chemical process, the chemistry behind it, but it doesn't always translate to how the natural system works. There's too many variables involved, biologically speaking. So you can't look at each individual nutrient like that. You have to take away a step back, and you have to see the whole process all together from the whole process. I mean, you have to see that the amount of life in an area is in direct relation and proportion to the amount of death and decay that has happened in that place. That it's like this, and everywhere in between, it's all totally interrelated. And the wider you can step back, and the more scope you can get, that is how you will be able to feel what the plants need, what the soil needs, and what's working and what's not working. Yeah, it's way deep, guys. Doug, $20. Thank you very much, my friend, for the tip. Did you get over the COVID? Right? Because it wasn't last week or maybe the week before you had an issue with the long COVID. I hope you are well, because I would like to have a talk with you again. So thank you very much for the support, my friend. Hope your garden is doing well. Cookie Monkey says, show the love and help the algorithm. Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, guys, we fell out of favor with the algorithm. So any help I can get from you guys would be great. So share the videos, share them to your Facebook groups and stuff. And, click the thumbs up. That's the easiest, simplest thing you can do. Also leave a comment, stuff like that. You know the deal. You already know the deal. So we just want to grow the tribe because we want to grow the reach, and we want just more people doing this, because that's how that's the way. This is the way. Carol Fago, what's up, my friend? Says, hello, Nate, just arrived. We'll watch the first hour later. Please thumbs up, people. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Let's see here. So yeah, that's a good ratio. 199 thumbs up to 224 viewers. That's good. I like that. That's a good ratio. That's right, Mom Computer. There was a comment from let's see here. I think I missed it in the, Jerry says, will do. I think I'm ready for the next level. Ready for the next level? Well, we can do that, my friend, for sure. Urban Gardener, that's what I was looking for. What's up, my friend? Guys, remember I did that podcast there some while ago? So he's doing a good thing in the gardening community, the Urban Gardener. He takes, does like interviews with all of the gardening aficionados and stuff like that, all the gardening YouTube channels. So you can check that out, guys. We always want to support our community. And we want to support everyone, but definitely people in our community that we believe in. So the Urban Gardener says, those onions look great. Mine are giant this year. Yes, it's been a good year for onions, guys. And let me just say it again about the onions, okay? I know a lot of you have heard this, but there is still so much confusion about this. Long day versus short day onions, okay? People think that, well, here's how it is, okay? Long day onions, all right? They put out all of their vegetative growth as the days are getting longer. Up until the solstice comes in late June, then they begin their bulb formation as the days begin getting shorter. And so as opposed to short day onions, you plant over the winter time, and it's typically in the south only where it stays somewhat warm. You can't plant anything here in the wintertime. But short day onions put their vegetative growth out during the as the days are getting shorter until the winter solstice. Then once the days begin getting longer, they switch to bulb formation. And so you can tell how big your onions are going to be based upon how many sets of leaves they have when the solstice comes. So each leaf corresponds to a layer, one of the rings in the onion. So the more layers, the more leaves that you have, the bigger and better the onion is going to be. So you want to have maximum amount of foliage by the time your solstice comes, the solstice for long day or short day. And because then it's going to switch to the bulb formation. And these things go from having no bulb at all, they go from looking like this much of a neck, to this in just 4 weeks. Yeah, in just 4 weeks. So that's how fast they produce the bulbs. And so you have to know which one you are planting where you're at. Don't plant short day if you're in a long day area. Don't plant, if you plant the wrong type, you're going to be very disappointed because you're going to put in months of love and of effort and of energetic, vibrational, energy and stuff like that. So, and then you're going to have these little tiny onions that don't do anything. And you're going to be like, man, then you're going to eat them and they're going to just like taste like they're going to be the texture of plastic. And that's not good. So you have to get the good ones that are right for your space. Okay. So there's my thing about that. Dawn, $50. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm not familiar with that name yet. Gil Creasy, right? Dawn Gil Creasy. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate that. All of that helps to keep the channel going because we've just taken a leap of faith, and now we are full-time YouTubing, Instagram, Facebook, all of that kind of stuff, full-time social media. So we'll see where that goes, Let's see here. Nick says, ooh, man, that's a great question. How long have you been growing your own food? And in that time, how have you seen your health change or improve? Oh, man. Yeah. For the full answer of all that, check us out every Monday at 10:30 on the other channel that I have. Right now it's called Nate Murray, but I'm going to start the other channel called Thrive Like a Viking. We talk about all this kind of stuff. My backstory, philosophy of living, growing, health, nutrition, all of these good things we talk about on that live every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. But it's been some time now, so 13 years, something like that. And man, my health, guys, especially in the past 5 years, I am aging in reverse in many ways. I mean, I was living a very toxic lifestyle for some time. And, okay, thanks, Big Will Dog. I will check it out. I was living a very toxic lifestyle for some time. And there's so many things led me to the understanding of what you put into the body is of utmost importance. What you put into the body is of utmost importance because it determines your experience. You can't be putting endocrine disruptors and chemicals and all kinds of stuff with low vibrational energy attached to it into the body and expect that you're going to be thriving. It just doesn't work that way. You know, intoxicants and all that kind of stuff. You have to expel all of that. And then when you really grasp this and you're growing your own food with the nutrient-dense soil that is bursting with life and energy, man, you can feel it. And now, I mean, eating is the central focus of my life. It is. Anyone that has had dinners with me or understands my lifestyle, they know this. And it's so, the preparation of it, the growing of it, every step along the way, the flavors, all of this stuff is of just, it is life. And so I just feel fantastic. I mean, progressively better than I ever have, like day by day. So it's really wonderful. So let me see here. I got to get to that question because someone said, okay, so Dawn had a question, said, okay, here we go. Hello from Louisiana. Any advice on springtails in the soil? Thousands of tiny little insects in the corners of my raised beds. Not sure if they're beneficial though. Man, I wish I could help you out more with that, but I don't have enough experience with the springtails. I don't have experience with it. So guys, if you got experience with springtails, give Dawn the advice. I don't think that they are a problem, actually. I really don't think that they're a problem. We just don't really, I have not run into them. So I haven't had to you know, come up with anything. So someone please, let's see. They help break down organic matter. Okay, that's what I thought. Christine Edwards says they help break down organic matter. Yeah, I think springtails are perfectly fine to have. So yes, I don't think that that's going to be a problem. If anyone thinks springtails are a problem, let us tell Dawn right now. Kimmy some love 42 says, so cool you do lives. Top of the morning to you beautiful souls. And the rest of the day to you, my friend. Jose Santos says, hello everyone, greetings from Southeast Asia. That's right, Thailand, right? Let's see. Annette says, hi Nate, do you put labs in compost? Absolutely, it helps speed the breakdown of the compost dramatically. Okay, Moondust says, I live in Michigan, so we have long days, but I don't know which onions are long day variety. Okay, if you're in Michigan, absolutely do the yellow of Parma. Get the yellow of Parma. You could also do the Australian browns, but I'm in love with the yellow of Parma this year. Although we'll have to see how long these particular ones store. I feel like they're going to store a long time because they're very pungent. But another one that's very good that stores is New York Early. So get the yellow of Parma, New York Early, Australian brown, and you're totally set for long day onions. Scott Miller says, we grow Vidalia down here in Georgia. That's right. Yes, you would grow that down there. And let's see here. Are bunching onions long or short day? Bunching onions don't matter because they just grow all the time. They just grow all the time. And so you don't have to worry about that. The bunching onions will grow and then flower like late spring, and then they'll become real woody. So after the bunching onions, after they flower and they produce seed and the seed starts to fall out, then take hedge trimmers and cut the whole thing down to the ground. Cut them down to the ground, and then they will grow back soft and tender. But if you just leave them there, those ones with the flower stalks will be like wood. So it's you want to just cut them all down. They will grow back. And that's exactly what I do. And now I've got a whole nother batch of just fresh, succulent, delicious green onions. So the Wayne says, you look healthy, Nate. It shows. Thank you, my friend. I definitely feel it. So Nick says, nice, man. I work as a chiropractor. Very much live a holistic lifestyle. Next step is getting land and producing my own food. Oh, absolutely, man. I am all for it. So yes, there's a lot of information on this channel that will help you do exactly that. I mean, even if you didn't even watch any other videos at all, you would still have, if you watch the videos on this channel, there would be enough knowledge for you to have abounding success in your endeavor of growing your own food. And if you don't see something, then you can ask me. And maybe give me in one of the comments, and I will make a video about it if I can. Yes? So Han says, is zone 7A long day or short day? Well, the zone doesn't matter. You got to, it's the dividing line. Go to the video that I made in January or February of this year about how to start onions from seed. And I give you a graph, a picture of the US. It's only the US, I'm sorry, but a picture of the US, and it has the dividing lines as opposed to what is long day and short day. So watch that video. It shows you exactly how to do it. Kimmy Some Love says health is #1 wealth. Oh, absolutely. Guys, if we don't have health, we don't have anything. Seriously, health is beyond all else. And so it is the primary focus. If you want to have an abounding, thriving life, you have to have your health. Christine Edwards says, springtails are good to have. They even introduce them into terrariums. Yes, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Fourth Wiseman says, nothing beats the healthiness and the flavors of homegrown. Absolutely. Because remember, guys, you have within you one of the most sophisticated nutrient monitoring systems that there is, and that is the taste profile. And so our natural way that this was designed was to utilize taste as to tell what is the most nutrient-dense food and what our body needs the most. You see, this is what taste is for. This is why we were gifted with this sense, is that the things that taste good to us is what is going to be full of the nutrients that our body needs. Now, this whole system has been hijacked and short-circuited with the introduction of man-made chemicals. The last couple hundred years, it has totally short-circuited this. And so you can't, if you're still eating the standard American diet, if you're still eating that way, then you can't trust this nutrient monitoring system that we call taste, because it's been short-circuited to crave things with unnatural flavors and all kinds of little reactions, chemical reactions and stuff. But once you make once you cut all of that out of your life, you detoxify from all of that, and you only eat whole food in its natural state as possible, then you can, after some time of that, you can rely on the taste. And so you will know that the flavor of stuff, wow, man, you will crave, but not like a chemical craving, but you will crave like the certain types of foods, and that will change throughout the year based upon what your body is needing. And so you can use taste as the way to tell what you need to be eating and what is the right thing for you, how much salt to add on your food, real sea salt, all that, okay? Stone Creek says, Nate, we might be needing a video on seed saving soon. Definitely. Video on that coming in the next week or so. Wayne says, what's SAD? New info. Okay, SAD is the acronym for the Standard American Diet. Yes, it makes perfect sense because it is very sad. And we are talking about processed food, cereals, anything. I mean, anything virtually that comes in a box or a package, even stuff that appears to be healthy and all of this, once you uncover the truth behind what is happening with all of the food industry and the lobbying and all of this stuff that goes, then it's horrifying. It's how deep it runs. And the only way to safeguard yourself against that is to grow your own stuff, or get it from the people that grow it in a way that is in line with your values, And so that's the only way. And then you will experience the abounding health. I mean, just the even just these pickles, I guarantee you that these are way more nutrient dense than anything from any store could possibly be, because this stuff is grown in nutrient rich soil and it's alive. It's not dumped with a bunch of distilled vinegar. It's fermented. This has got billions upon billions of microorganisms in it, all of which are going to help our digestive system. Because remember, my friends, you are more microorganism cells than human tissue cells. Yes. in your body is up to 100 trillion microorganisms in your gut. And you essentially are feeding, everything you eat is feeding the community of microorganisms that exist inside of your gut. And this determines things like serotonin production, how your mood feels. You know, this determines so much of how connected you are with the earth and with the energies. We say, oh, it's just a gut feeling. You know, how many, we have that saying, oh, it was just a gut feeling. Well, what does that mean? Because that is the center of the energy that is connected to things. And it's the microorganism activity, all of this. I could just go on, because each one of them have their own life energy around them. It's just incredible. So these foods that are depleted and full of chemicals, they kill these microorganisms and they retard their growth and their reproduction. Whereas things like this are going to benefit all of that, because it's got the probiotics, the lactobacilli. That's what's colonized this entire thing. That's why no molds or spoilage bacteria can grow in here, because the lactic acid has lowered the pH to the point where none of the other things can grow. And so those are going to be probiotics. All right. But this also has prebiotics, which is what the trillions of cells in your gut, what they eat. And it's a certain type of fiber, and it exists in here. It exists in the onions. It exists in the garlic. It exists in all this stuff, guys. So I could go on and on about this. It's just, it's as deep as can possibly be imagined. Okay. So, yes, Pam, I agree. This is very vital. Let's see. Wayne says, ouch. The sad standard American diet is a modern dietary pattern afflicting American adults and children with damaging health consequences. Yes. Guys, how many times, when I was traveling the world and stuff for those several years, you don't see obesity like you do in America. I mean, America is by far the most obese place I've ever been. And especially in the last 5 years or so, I'm seeing it everywhere in the children. Guys, I'm sorry that if this is hard for some of you to hear, but this is the truth, is that children should not be obese. A little bit of fat is healthy for the developing kids, a little bit of storage and stuff. But I'm seeing around here, and I know I'm in the Midwest, the heart of the Midwest, but still, I mean, there is children, we're talking 8 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, just straight up obese. I mean, that is, what are you doing, to your children? There is no excuse for that, because the child should not, you're setting that child up with a lifetime of issues that they're going to have for their whole life. And so it really moves me a lot when I see that, because that is not okay. But yet it is exploding everywhere. And that only comes from the chemicals and the lack of activity and the endocrine disruptors and all of this stuff that we're putting into the body. That does not just come from eating too many calories, okay? Because there's no way. I mean, I've been to cultures that eat very nutrient-dense food, very calorie-rich food and stuff, and there's not the obesity, because there's not the chemicals, the endocrine disruptors and all of that, because it's natural foods. And so this is so important, my friends. You will see a direct correlation, to the amount of chemicals and processing in the food and the obesity rates and the things like that. So it's not just inactivity. It all comes together. These are things we talk about on the Nate Murray channel, or which is soon going to be called Thrive Like a Viking, where we have every Monday, 10:30 the Eastern time, a discussion about stuff like this. Okay, so okay, guys, so we are getting to the end. Let's see here. Cheesecake says, Nate, people should stop buying roasted chickens from Sam's and Walmart. Those chickens are full of poisons. Oh, I'm sure they are, for sure. Misabi says, I'm sending you a couple of recipes on Instagram. Polish fermented rye soup and pickles. Yes, thank you, my friend. I will be implementing that. Stone Creek says, Nate, it is so fun to take these techniques and apply to our own situations. I can't do everything, but helps tremendously. Yes, that's the thing, guys, is that you don't have to, like all the fertilizers and the techniques and all of the the advice or whatever from this channel, you don't have to do all of it, not even close. If you can just do some, that's plenty. Especially like the fertilizers for the soil, just 1 or 2 is good, man. It's just, it's what's more important is the way of viewing the world that we're developing. That's what's most important. The philosophy of living is most important. That is what will guide you to all the correct decisions. So, okay, guys. Well, let's see here. Pam says, I'm definitely going to buy special seeds of cucumber for bottling. Before, I didn't know the difference before I heard it from you. Oh, yeah, definitely, guys. Yeah, that's the thing. If you you want to get specific pickling cucumbers. Now, you will hear people say, oh, I use regular cucumbers and they're fine. Well, okay, you will have okay success. I've done it before and they were okay. You know, I mean, many times, but I've also had way too many failures. Pickling cucumbers are bred specifically to have very thin skin, and they're bred to maintain their crunchiness through the fermentation process. And they absorb the brine much easier, and they're less watery. They're more meaty than regular cucumbers. So I grow market more cucumbers, China jade cucumbers. I grow those for fresh eating and for juicing. But for pickling, it's either the Chicago, you hear that? It's either the Chicago pickling or the Boston pickling. Either one of those is going to be very good. Boy, this thing's just fermenting like crazy. It's going to be delicious. And these will stay good for several months just sitting on the counter, guys. So, Masabi says, the biggest challenge in our house is using the produce. Yes, which is why it's so important, why I feel like I want to make a bunch of recipe videos, because I'm using this stuff every day. And it's just, I think it's just incredibly delicious. And so the recipes are so important. We have to utilize the stuff. Let's see here. Kimmy Some Love says, I'm so going out to collect leaf mold this week. Great adventure. Live out in Oregon. Oh, nice. Yes. Wonderful area there. Mama T says, you are correct about the food. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad that you recognize this. From Dentist to Farmer says, thank you for your great content. Interesting name, my friend. Scott says, I'll let you know how the straight 8s go. Okay, do that, please. Lisa T says, Nate, with beef, what are your thoughts on non-GMO, grass-fed, grain-finished? Yeah, I mean, non-GMO, okay, so you're talking about grass-fed and then grain-finished. Yeah, that's going to be the lesser of the evils. They're not going to just be pumped full of grain, you know, the whole time and stuff. They're still going to have, I mean, what is non-GMO? So the grain is non-GMO, or the corn or the soybeans is non-GMO? I doubt that's going to be hard to find. So, yeah, I mean, if that's what you can find, it's better than just straight up conventional. Ideally, you want to find 100% pastured. That's the best of all. But yeah, if that's what you can find, that's what you should use, okay? Mom General says, have you enjoyed the lemon cucumber for eating? Yeah, I grew them many years ago now. They were pretty good, you know. They're nothing really special. I feel like they're more of a novelty than anything. I prefer the China jade. The cucumber for the fresh eating is the China jade, guys. It is super good. Tastes, I mean, really powerful cucumber flavor. It's so good. So Rachel, Successful Garden Design says, yes, please make cooking videos. Yes, definitely. I will do that. And guys, you can check out her channel as well, Successful Garden Design. She's just put out a video, I think, about garden layout, you know, and it's like proper English, you know, English type garden. It's different than like survival gardening, you know, or like food production focused gardening. It's different. It's more like beautiful and aesthetic and stuff. So you can check her channel out as well. So, okay, guys, we are going to, Lisa T says, Nate, the grain is non-GMO. Okay, good. Then, yeah, I mean, that's going to be much better. If it's just grain finished, then I don't see really what the issue would be. But I will know so much more for sure once we get the land and we get a couple cattle and we are feeding them, we are growing the food for them, and we are butchering them and experiencing the flavors and the different, all of this kind of stuff. It's all coming for sure. I see it already, so we can all look forward to that. And all right, guys, every Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time, we will be right here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters doing the live Q&A. Every Monday at 10:30 a.m. on my other channel, Nate Murray, which will soon be called Thrive Like a Viking, then we have a discussion about other things, not garden related. Okay? So thank you, my friends. Keep sending the stuff to the P.O. Box. I will put, oh yeah, here's the P.O. Box. P.O. Box 1901, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46899. Yes. P.O. Box 9101, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46899. Yes, you guys can send whatever you want to there. And if you want me to open it on air, just put open on the live on the package, okay? So, all right, guys. See you next time, my friends.